Hey, I'm Sterling with Big Days. Today we're going to do a big comparison test on our chase rack versus a tailgate pad versus a hitch rack for carrying mountain bikes. Alright, so we're going to start off with the hitch rack, but to make sure this is a fair comparison, we're going to tighten this sucker down. We don't want anybody complaining this thing wasn't tight enough. Oh, there we go. I'm a redhead, it's about as tight as I can get it, which isn't very tight, but that's plenty tight. For now, we're using 2. Because we want to show you the pain points, because we know that if we were doing this with all 5 right now, these bikes wouldn't look the same afterwards. We're hoping to give these bikes the best treatment that they can with what we're about to do to them. So, things down good. We're gonna mount these up tight. We separated them out just because we don't want pedals slapping together. Got a lot of dings from bikes over the years, scratching my chain stays right here. You can see this bike already has a bunch of them. Those are all shuttle scuffs, and they come from when your bikes are either on a hitch rack or on a tailgate pad, from the pedals slamming into your back chain stays. So I have all of my bikes have had those over the years, so thankfully these bikes have any issues. Alright, I sent some pretty bad divots back there, and honestly, it's as far as I'm comfortable with speed-wise, because the hitches on your vehicles actually have a pretty low weight rating as how much weight can go on there. And Kurt hitches, if you're familiar with them, they've actually stopped warranting their hitches if you use a vertical place bike rack on there. But unfortunately with a hitch rack, the only way to carry more than 4 bikes is on a vertical rack. But because of the weight that having 6 bikes back there will put on your rack, no more warranties. So that's as comfortable as I am with going fast in this setup. But I do want to show you guys one more thing, which is what a lot of people don't think about when it comes to actual off-roading. Before we dive into this next part, I want to talk about departure angle. The departure angle is the angle in which your truck or your vehicle will actually be up before something in the back scrapes. You see, without a rack on the back, you have all of this room right here. The problem though is that when you stick anything off of the back, bikes or a hitch rack, for example, it decreases your departure angle, which makes it significantly more likely that you're going to hit your bikes or your rack on something. I personally have damaged several racks right here at this joint because you think it's not that deep of a hole, turns out it is that deep of a hole. Same thing with bikes and the back tire. So we're going to test out a section right now that is a G out, and factoring in that this is a pretty off-roady truck, we're going to try and hit this thing to get this thing to touch on a not that technical of a section. Everything we're doing today is in 2-wheel drive, just to prove that this is not that hard of a trail and this is the kind of damage that we're looking at. Honestly, a real G out can come out of nowhere. Like, I've done some pretty chill dirt roads that randomly have giant G outs. Now, something to factor into this is that because of this, we're in a jacked up Raptor right now. It's not that jacked up, but it's a Raptor still. And these bikes are gonna be hard to hit on a G out. That being said, any other truck, it's going to be really easy. I've personally had to go in the back and lift up a hitch rack so that the bikes don't drag on the dirt and the bikes actually pop off. I did lose a bike once from hitting on the dirt, it popping its back wheel up and off of the rack. So let's go take a look at this thing. Okay, so you see, one thing that happens with hitch racks is that when the tire hits, it actually kicks the whole bike up and backwards. And that's how bikes come out of the rack. So if you've ever had a bike lost on a rack, it's because it came up and out. And well, that can be on a bump on the freeway, that can be from all these different things. You're really depending on these straps to hold everything in when you're hitting something on the bottom. Something else to note too is the real main cause of damage on racks like this is rear pedals. Almost all of these racks will have pedals that can free spin while the bike is in the rack, which means that this right here can line up right with the frame next to it, and that's when you have frame-to-frame contact as the bikes will swing against each other. So this bike is fully strapped in and the bikes will swing against each other like this. And that's where you get contact with the bikes. So if you want to destroy your bikes, this is one way of doing it. Alright, so I've been using tailgate pads for years, and here's some of the common little things that I've noticed over the years that kind of irritate me about them. So one, these straps right here were okay back in like 2011 when this giant trans was made, but now with modern day down tubes, these straps are never long enough, which means that you can almost never actually strap your bike down, especially with e-bikes. One of my biggest pet peeves with tailgate pads is that right here, any sort of damage to this surface right here leaves so that dust and dirt can actually get into your dust wiper here and down past your seal, and then oil can get up and out. So the number one cause of oil leaking in your fork is actually from scuffs and nicks in your stanchions, which are really common when using a tailgate pad because look, it's rubbing right on the stanchion, a relatively fragile surface. On top of that, one of the illnesses while off-roading is that there's a good chance that today we're gonna see some divots in the metal right here from these bikes hitting like that. They're strapped down, the pad is strapped down. Within the day, there is still enough flex and foam to sit there and slap on the actual metal. While we're talking about tailgate pads, is they do work, right? This is a $200 piece of foam that does work, but at the end of the day, where does the rest of your stuff go in the bed of your truck, right? So yes, you might have to jam the back seat full. You can possibly stuff some things in here, but at the end of the day, you end up stacking things higher, which for off-roading like we're doing right now, means you're more likely to lose crap out the back. So another big potential issue with tailgate pads is just how much stuff and room it takes up. Then lastly, let's say you are crazy and you have 14 kids or something. Towing a camper with this thing becomes a nightmare because the tongue of that trailer will usually come through and hit the tires. So that's another huge issue with that. So, and then I guess I keep saying the last thing, but here's the one last thing, which is your backup camera. It's kind of the obvious thing here, right? This is a 2011 truck that has a backup camera. Anything newer than that is most likely going to have a backup camera. And by using a tailgate pad, it blocks that, which I personally love using my backup camera as well as my backup sensors. My wife hates it backing up because it just beeps and yells at her. So, but today we're here talking about off-roading. So let's go off-road. All right, so I went and did that same loop that we've been doing with the hitch rack, and with this, I saw the bikes go up and slam on the tailgate several times. There's probably a half a dozen times where the bikes actually came fully off of the gate and slammed onto it. And you can tell if you can look at this, the actual pad now has shifted backwards. It's now loosened up because it was tight, but because of the shift, now look at this, that's right there, that's metal on those stanchions. So the bikes were jumping, they shifted. There was actually a full-on shift at one point with the bikes on there. At the end of the day, it was better than the hitch rack for off-roading, but at the end of the day, it was still like pucker your bum hole kind of a thing with make sure the bikes weren't getting damaged. So it's better. It's not there yet. Let's try something else. All right, so some of the problems with hitch racks was that it hurts your departure angle. There's no departure angle affected here. 2, we've talked about damage to your bikes. The system right here keeps all of the bikes in place, and if you notice, the pedals are all strapped down to this lower bar in here. What that does is it keeps all of the pedals in place so they can't contact or move freely within the truck to contact the bike next to them. The pedals will all sit roughly in the front triangle of the next bike next to it. So if we're talking about space, right? The hitch rack, the tailgate pad takes up a lot of your space. This frees up all of this room behind or underneath the front tires. It gives you all the space that you might need for carrying all of your gear. I personally, typically, before putting this bed rack in, had a toolbox in here that had all of my helmets and all my riding gear in there. I love that thing. On top of that, if you've noticed from the last 2 videos, this rack has been here the whole time and it looks sick. It doesn't get in the way when you're trying to do other things. So if you have a hitch rack, you can run this thing too if you're planning on doing a long road trip, and you can keep your hitch and your backup camera and your sensors free with 0 contact between your bikes and the tailgate, meaning your bikes are safer and more protected, your truck is actually more protected, and you have full access to your truck's sensors, cameras, etc., and the hitch in case you want to tow, and for this off-roading video, keeping it high enough off the ground so you can really lay into this thing. Now that we've shown you how all these things are coming together with this, let's go drive like a real truck and stop sitting around. Let's go have some real fun. Dude, that is why we do this. It's so crazy. That's like full on as fast as we can off-roading that I could never do before. That's just, it's so good, dude. Oh, I love it. Good work, man. Yeah, it's just like, you can drive the way you want to again. It's just, it's so much fun knowing that it's just like, I don't care, like, I don't have to worry about the stuff in the back. I'll have no more bumhole pucker moments unless there's like a ravine, but even then it's still fine. It's like, the bikes didn't go anywhere. Just, it's why we're here. Dude, if you guys have any questions about this stuff, let us know. If you want to call us out any BS we did here, honestly, this is as real as we could make it. So we're just happy that the stuff works as good as it does. Because that's why we do this. So we can go fast on our bikes and our trucks. Bigdays.com. Hit us up.